Good evening. You're about to see Racing Association or Rocket Tire, the some guys. Going to go back through the starting grid now as we get set for 200 laps for the main event. Again, the two guys that qualified in on their times and start from the front row, the 92 of Ty Spearman and the 088 Scott Howell, and then the 4 heat race winners starting through 6th. Marvin Turnmeyer Jr., Wendell Stratton, Brian Fallon, Bentley Glazer. Those drivers, Brett, start 3rd through 6th, and we'll continue to go back through a loaded field here tonight.
Yeah, Mason won there. 5 will start position number 7 to his outside. It's going to be Austin J. Yarbrough in car number 5 as well. He will start position number 8. Chris Watkins will start position 9, and on his outside in row 5 is Adam Benefield. On the inside of row 6, it's going to be Andrew Dixon, and to his outside in the 19 is David Richer.
Austin Jones rolling from 13th alongside Tommy Ryan in the 62. Zach Robluski in the number 7 machine rolling from 15th. Zach Knowles starting 16th. Jack Pellicker 17th, Barry Hines 18th, Corey Wyatt and Tom Hammaker round out the top 20, and field is rolling, so we're about to go green flag racing. You'll see quickly the rest of the starting field on your screen, but up front, the story tonight is all about the 92 of Ty Spearman, who started this race, going to start this race rather, from the point, and will be looking to win this inaugural running of the Rocket Tire Services 300. Again, this race modeled after what will take place tomorrow, the Valley Star Credit Union 300 for late model stock cars at the Martinsville Speedway. But Spearman and Howell going to be the two drivers to lead the field to green, and we're glad you're here for the broadcast on LSRTV. This is a historic event for ASRA tonight, and the pace car makes the hard left turn to pit road. Field in the hands of Spearman, and the American Ethanol green flag is going to wave as we come off turn number 4, and the Rocket Tire Services 300 is green here at Martinsville. Spearman on the gas, but it's going to be Howell with this advantage for just a moment before they get to turn 1, and Brett, it's already a shuffle.
Yeah, very tight in the racetrack here at Martinsville Speedway, so drivers just trying to form in line. Man, the 088 of Scott Howell almost ran into the right rear quarter of the 92 of Spearman as well, but here comes Turnmeyer Jr. in the car number 9, looking to the inside to try and take over second, but here comes the 1 and the 08 of Brian Fallon and Wendell Stratton as well.
They're all going down, storming back into turn number 3. Spearman, the man on the mission early on, started from pole. We're now 2 in the books, and he's led them both. But again, it's been everybody trying to settle out and figure out how quickly they can get to the bottom lane. It's very much a game of gamesmanship and sportsmanship here in the early going. Who's going to give you a lane and who may not? You'll remember it later in the race as we get closer to lap number 200, but back in the pack as you look at some of the guys who may have started off strong and maybe not be doing so well now. One of the guys that sticks out to me, the man who started 4th in the 1 car, Brett, Wendell Stratton, won his heat race and is falling all the way back to right at the edge of the top 10, fighting for 10th now with the 18 machine of David Richer.
Yeah, the 1 and I think it was the 8 got together in turn 1 and 2, and the 1 got all out of shape. He managed to save the race, he managed to save it, but you know, he did lose a bunch of positions as he's back into about 11th spot, I do believe. So keep an eye on that 1 of Wendell Stratton to come through and make a charge inside the top 10.
He's already trying to make that charge. He's picked up 1 spot. He's coming on Chris Watkins for another one in that 019 machine, and just ahead of them, the 112 of Adam Benefield. Benefield, a driver who is making a lot of noise on the iRacing sim right now because he says he's going to be looking to make a run at the iRacing.com Pro Series for the 2016 season. So about a year from now, going to be trying to make the run, and everybody trying to hold it together. And Benefield now closing on that 5 machine of Austin Yarborough. They're dicing for position. Yarborough taking a look to the inside for the 6th spot. on Mason White all the while Ty Spearman and Scott Howell, they've basically left the field. They've got a second in hand with 8 laps complete.
In very early parts of the race so far, and those two drivers have really shown that they are the class of it at the moment. But it's all fun and well to have clean air and no traffic in front of you. As you see the 05 of Mason White just falling behind the 5 of Austin Yarborough as he makes his way up into 6th and looking to try and take over the 5th spot running from Bentley Glaser.
What I'm so impressed about here in the early goings of this race is the fact that everybody, you know, sometimes we get some of these longer races, Brett, and you'll see guys get impatient early in the going, and we'll see a rash of early caution flags because people don't want to give and take and make life a little bit easier on themselves. Instead, these guys really settled themselves out in a very good way. Trouble, though, on the racetrack, of course. Just as I say it, caution flag flies for the first time at lap number 11, and we're going to shuffle the field.
Nothing like a good commentator's curse. I tell you, that will bring out the first caution of the night, and that is going to give the leaders as well a chance to get a good pit as we get just what happened.
It was the 7 of Zach Wroblewski that was running up inside the top 15 or so. Is going to go all the way to the tail end of the lead lap. 30, looks like 39 cars officially starting this race tonight. So we had 42 that were qualified in, 39 taking the green flag, and under caution already for the first time at lap number 12. As you see that 7 of Wroblewski, he's got some pretty heavy damage to the right rear quarter of that machine, Brett, and even at Martinsville, that's going to scrub a lot of speed away. It's going to make the car tough to drive too.
Yeah, definitely. They're very precise in how they want to drive and how they handle as well. So even if you get the slightest bit of damage, it's, you know, Martinsville's not, you know, one of those big tracks where you can kind of get a draft in and whatnot. So it won't scrub too much speed off, but it will scrub some sort of speed off, and that will hurt you in the long run of these races.
So under the first caution with working now lap number 14 of 200. So there's still a very long way to go in this race, but the man they've been talking about from the drop of the green flag, Ty Spearman, he has led every single lap so far tonight from the pole position. That silver number 92 machine, very strong ahead of outside pole sitter Scott Howell. Brian Fallon up to 3rd, Marvin Turnmeyer, Bentley Glaser, the rest of the top 5. And one thing I'm not surprised about right now, Brett, the fast qualifiers and 3 of your 4 heat race winners up there inside the top 5, basically taking advantage of the positions that they earned.
Yeah, it's always good to start the early part of the race with good track position, but we all know in order to be at the front of the end, you know, you've got to be there consistently throughout the entire race. You're going to have to have good pit stops, you know, with your crew as well. So if you don't get those pit stops that you need, well, you know, you're not going to be there come the end of the races, which is where you want to be.
Exactly right, and light's going to be on. I think we're going to have at least 1 more lap under caution, if not 2. We'll see if the lights go off this time. Scott Howell certainly jumped up to the outside as if we're getting ready to double up the field, and as they work off turn number 4 and back down the front straightaway, it does look like we will indeed get the 1 to go signal. Lights go out, and we will get ready to try this again. So a few guys that I want to spotlight that have jumped their way forward here early in the race. Corey Wyatt, the number 70 machine, up 5 spots. He's moved into the top 15 after starting 19th. And another guy who has moved up solidly, Austin Coop in the 53 back in 22nd, or started 22nd, has moved up in the top 20 to 19th. Pace cars off, our first restart of the night, and the American Ethanol green flag in a roll off of turn number 4. We are back underway. Little bit of contact between the 2 leaders, as I think maybe a little bit of tire spin from both of them going down into turn 1. But now Spearman gets the jump, gets away, and the battle's going to be for second between Fallon and Howell.
Yeah, Fallon just trying to look to the inside out of turn number 2 that time by, but it was all Howell who had the run. Meanwhile, as we go back and have a look at the battle for 4 spot between the 3 and the number 9 machine of Turnmeyer Jr. and Glacier as well. So Glacier on the inside. Here comes another couple of side-by-side battles. The position, there's about 6 cars doing battle there.
Yeah, it's about a 6-car fight from maybe 6th or so all the way back. 5th or so on back. Glazier, Yarbrough, Mason White in the 05, Wendell Stratton in the 1, and Adam Benefiel in the 112. All right in this mix. It's 4th from about 10th. All in a hornet's nest, and it's all coming to a head as everybody trying to battle for the bottom of the racetrack. That's where you want to be. That's where Adam Benefiel is in the 112. 3rd car in line. Caution flag flies for the 2nd time at lap 19.
Not sure if we can see the reason of that caution. Just trying to have a look through the back of the pack, but man, I'll tell you what, these cars...
Big trouble for Daniel Williamson. That car is spewing some heavy black smoke. The 8 machine and the 88 of Cam Brown as well involved in this melee. So those 2 drivers who qualified relatively back in the pack, 26th for Brown and 31st for Williamson. You're going to get a look at the replay right here, and Brown not happy over the radio. So very disappointing way for some of these guys to have their at least going to be time for heavy repair.
Pretty much, you know, you might as well just pack up, come sit in the grandstand, and watch a good race with that kind of amount of smoke. It might have even, you know, come close to blowing the engine there. But heavy contact with the 8 machine of Daniel Williamson, and I think the 088 as well. I think you said as well. So, yeah, tough luck for Daniel Williamson in that 8 machine, as he's going to spend quite a bit of time in the pits, as you said.
And that looks like it started maybe with the 61 of Scott Martin, because he just got a penalty from race control. He'll be headed to the tail end of the longest line for this restart. Kyle Barnes on top of the press box, keeping an eye on everything that's going on tonight. But 20 laps into this race, the 92 of Ty Spearman has led them all from the pole so far. We're going to do our first little bit of business tonight on LSRTV, and we'll come back with green flag action in just a couple of minutes from Martinsville Speedway. You're watching the Rocket Tire Services 300 on LSRTV, the voice of sim racing. Coming to green flag here at Martinsville Speedway, Jacob Seelman, Brett Wheeler on the call for the inaugural running of the Rocket Tire Services 300, sanctioned by the American Sim Racing Association and the American Ethanol. Green flag just went back in the air over what was a 40-car starting field. 35 remain on the lead lap as we wrap up the second caution flag, but the man who's been out front for all of the laps so far today, Ty Spearman, the pole sitter in that number 92 late model, has been out front since the drop of the green flag, and he has used track position to his advantage. Has not given up the point yet tonight. The 088 of Scott Howell qualified second on Thursday night, rides second in this race to Spearman. Those top 2 have basically utilized their track position and have held serve for the most part here in the early goings, as Spearman has now led 27 of 27 laps when he gets back to the stripe. Again, 2 early cautions, Brett, make it 3 as we'll come around this time, and more trouble, I think, on the back straightaway.
Yeah, very, very lucky for the 9 machine of Marvin Turnmeyer Jr. there. Just as soon as yellow come out, he locked up the brakes and had to avoid a couple of slow cars. So
there's a lot of smoke on the 3 and 4 end of the racetrack, but I'm not finding anybody yet that has stopped moving. So we'll keep searching the replay cameras and see if we can't figure out exactly what's put us under the third caution of this race.
Tell you what, the big winner out of all that was the number 1 machine. He was battling in that 6-car battle for about, I don't know, 8th or 9th at the time of that the previous caution, and Wendell Stratton that is in the number 1. And then when that last caution came out, he was able to get to the bottom where he was stuck on the high side, and I believe he picked up about 3 or 4 spots, so he's now up into 7. So Wendell Stratton is in that 1 machine, has got a good advantage, and he's now stuck on the bottom side of the speedway, which is where you want to be.
It really is, and people are going to be fighting for track position on the bottom of the racetrack all night long. So, you know, that's what these guys want. That's the only good way to pass around here, Brett, even with the new dynamic track surfaces, And, you know, that's one of those things where it's altered the racing at some of the tracks on this service, but a short track like Martinsville, the way this place drives, it's not going to take the inner short track out of the paper clip. You know, you can rubber in the high groove, but at this place, it doesn't matter. You want to be on the bottom no matter how much rubber's down on this racetrack.
Yeah, definitely, especially with these tight little corners. You know, you need to get these cars just glued to that inside line. Obviously, you don't want it too far down on the bottom, because otherwise you can end up in the grass. And we all know what kind of we all know what the grass does to these race cars. You know, even if you get your left front on them, it can really unsettle the race cars, and it can even almost turn them around in some parts of the racetrack.
Yeah, it will. So right now, 31 laps going to go up on the leaderboard as we cross the stripe under our 3rd caution flag of the night. Couple of cars on pit road for service. Nobody in the front pack, but you know, again, these top 2 have established why they're the top 2 as we were 32, and looks like we're going to double it up for another restart. That's another thing that makes these restarts chaotic, is the fact that you are too wide on a track, and we got one car stopped over there on the inside of the back straightaway trying to get a read on the car number, but looks like they're going to take a tow back to pit road. Pace car is going to go off, and we're going to go back to green flag racing. Ty Spearman, the 92, going to lead them back to the green flag once again, and the American Ethanol green flag returns to the air, and we're back underway with 32 of 200 laps complete. But I'll give a call to Scott Howell, who led that lap at the start-finish line. He will not lead by the time they get off turn 2, so Howell credited with leading 32, but the 33rd lap is back to Spearman out front.
Yeah, Bentley Gleason just on the outside in that number 3 machine, having a good battle with Ryan Forward, and also the 1 and 5 as well on Yarborough and Stratton as well. So you got a 3-car battle for positions 3, 4, 5 on the racetrack as the 5 is Yarborough moves to the inside of the 3 of Gleason. Here comes Stratton in the number 1 machine.
Well, all that's going on. Again, no change up front, but a great battle back in the pack, and Wendell Stratton in that 1 machine starting to make some moves. He fell back. We were a little concerned about this 1 machine, Brett, early in the going tonight, but he's really rebounded nicely. Has worked his way from 11th back up to the 6th position, and whatever was ailing him in that first run of the race, he's really come up nice and actually just took 5th away on that last lap from the 3 of Bentley Glazer.
Yeah, I believe the reason why he fell back was he had contact with another car, and he got the car all out of shape, but he managed to save it, and now he's back up inside of the top 5, so keep an eye on that 1 machine as he's going to pull up behind the number 5 of Yarborough as well. But we have a look back through the pack just to see if there's any battles going on. It's all pretty much single file at this stage.
It is right now. Everybody's kind of worked themselves back into single file formation, and we'll see if we can't just put a few green flag laps down. Again, a competition caution going to come out right at halfway. Officially, it's going to be lap 98, so you can split the difference. Get 2 laps on the positive side and 2 laps on the far side of halfway, and you can continue to get the idea. In the meantime, as I talk about cautions, we're back under yellow for the 4th time tonight.
Yeah, William Payne in the 109, I can see was involved in that one. I think it was about 2 or 3 other cars involved on the back stretch, so we'll see if we can get a replay up of that one.
Yeah, the 50, the 30, it's a big mess. The 5, I think, got a piece of it. The 7 got a piece of it. So Austin Yarborough, maybe the 1 of Wendell Stratton, that may have actually happened right at the front of the field. So a lot of damage with some of these front runners. The 90 of Marvin Turnmeyer appears to be involved in this heavy crash now as we work under caution. I believe that was 38 when they came around to the line. So that's our front runners, Brett. We just missed it. We were watching the leader head towards 3, and all of a sudden behind him, everything broke loose.
Yeah, so we're going to replay up of what exactly happened there, but yeah, it was all chaotic on the back stretch. And just as we started to go back through the back of the pack, and just see if there's any battles anywhere else on the racetrack. But unfortunately, not good timing on our half to miss that one.
Yeah, Jeff Hoggard, one of the cars that it appeared to be involved in this. I know, again, the 90 of Marvin Turnmeyer really got shuffled back, but he was trying to pick his way through the mess. Adam Poff in the 30 got a piece of it. But again, a lot of damage for a lot of cars, and a couple of voices coming over the radio just now, and getting word maybe the 29 of Dale Owen got a piece of it as well. And some of these guys coming over the radio and saying, "Look, guys, we got 160 laps to go. Chill out. There's still time. Everybody needs to be a little bit patient here." So, not what you want to see. We've already had 4 cautions in this race, and despite it all, the front 2 have not changed, Brett. It's been this way since lap 1 for the most part. I know Howell led that one lap and beat Spearman to the last 3. It's been 1-2 tonight.
Yeah, in the early parts of the race before we actually had our first caution, we've seen those 2 drivers really drive away from the pack, and it was those cautions that brought them back to the pack. I think, and they had over a 1 second advantage over 3rd place. So those 2 guys, showing that they are the class of the field in the early parts of this race. Let's hope just that they can stay there for the rest of the part of the race as well.
Before we go back green, let's give you a look at the top 10 with 43 of 200 laps complete. Ty Spearman out in front. Scott Howell riding second in the 088. The 08 of Brian Fallon third. Austin Yarborough in the 5 is fourth. Wendell Stratton in the 1 is fifth. Bentley Glazer in the 3, 6th. Then Adam Benefield, Zach Knowles, Tommy Ryan, Marvin Turnmeyer. They're your top 10, and we're going to get the restart on lap number 45. Already 4 cautions again in the books for 20 laps when we get this restart. Spearman has led every lap but 1 so far in this race. This restart presented by American Ethanol. Green flag back in the air. We're back underway here at the Paperclip, Martinsville, and Scott Howell spun the tires, nearly gets jacked up by Austin Yarborough. They head for turn 1. Everybody starts to sort it out, but boy, Howell had a little bit of a nervous moment. Still a nervous moment off 2. He nearly got into the outside concrete.
Yeah, keep an eye on the number 3, Bentley Glazer as well. He's trying to work it on the outside of the 1 of Stratton, but he just can't make the moves. Then he's going to duck in behind Stratton, and he's now going to take over that 6th running spot. Meanwhile, we've got a couple of side-by-side battles for about 7th on backwards. You've got the 112, the 099, the 62, and also the 90 machine of Marvin Turnmeyer Jr., who was running inside the top 3 as well. The 62 of Tommy Ryan and Turnmeyer Jr. They make a little bit of contact in turns 3 and 4.
Yeah, there was definitely a door slam from the 62 of Tommy Ryan, and just ahead of them, Adam Benefield's just worked his way up a position around the 099 of Zach Knowles. So Benefield going to firmly assume command of that 7th position now. And Adam Benefield, Justin Rosenau, one of our other colleagues at LSRTV, Brett, calls him patiently aggressive, and I don't know if you can be such a thing at a short track, but Benefield is one of those guys. He'll just kind of sit and stalk you and wait until about 50 laps to go when it's time to pay some money, and then he'll go to the front. And keep in mind, this race does pay out tonight. It's almost a $500 purse broken down through the 40 cars that took the green flag in this race. And as we look at Ty Spearman, Scott Howell, the winner gets $50 of that purse tonight. So It's not a massive amount, but it's certainly something as the caution comes out 1/4 of the way through.
Yeah, it looks like Corey Wyatt in the 70 has got some right rear damage on that race car. This is going to come across the start-finish line there. But man, what a battle. I was just going to see the replay of exactly what just happened right now on the racetrack.
Yeah, Corey Wyatt, and I'm getting a look at the damage here from our tower, and definitely some decent damage to the rear end of that machine. So tough break. 5th caution of the race, right at lap number 50. So 1/4 of the way through. Let's do a little more business. Come back with more of the Rocket Tire Services 300 in a moment. Ty Spearman, Scott Howell, Brian Fallon, Austin Yarborough, Wendell Stratton, your leaders here at Martinsville. You're watching LSRTV, the voice of sim racing.
While lions are notorious for their voracious appetites, they spend a great deal of time feeding other creatures. In fact, lions will take great care to ensure there's plenty to go around. As you can see, they keep giving with utter ferocity. Bravo, lions, and bon appetit. Do good, be a lion.
Working the 5th caution flag of the Rocket Tire Services 300 for the American Sim Racing Association. Jacob Seelman and Brett Wheeler in the broadcast booth at Martinsville Speedway, the virtual version at least. The paperclip, as they call it, has played host right now to 54 of 200 laps in the feature event. And the 1-to-go signal just came out from the flag stand. Ty Spearman, the driver who has started on the pole, led every lap save for 1 in this race tonight. He continues to dominate as we've now had 5 cautions for what will be 25 laps. When we go back to green flag racing, Scott Howell, the outside pole sitter, continues to sit there as he's restarted every time on the outside of that front row tonight. American Ethanol green flag and a wave off turn number 4, and Spearman bringing him down a little slow. Now the flag's in the air, and now we are rolling, and again, I believe Howell beat him to the line. He did, so Howell will lead his 2nd lap of the night with 55 complete, and they're still side by side off 2, Brett. This battle for the lead getting a little hot and heavy now.
Yes, Spearman and Howell, they still run side by side. 1 lap after the lead, they come and turn into lap 57 it was. It's going to be Spearman who regains the lead as they go into 1 and 2. Spearman on the bottom side. Howell, he's just going to fall in behind him. Man, I tell you what, they made contact on the initial restart, and that gave Howell the jump on Spearman in turns 1 and 2.
And these two have been dicing it out all night long. I mean, we're not surprised at this just 1/4 of the way through tonight's event, but, you know, they're not ready to give it up. I think Spearman has the best car, Brett, over the long run of this race, but Howell, boy, if he can get a short run, he might have something for him. I'm telling you, though, I don't think that 112 of Benefiel has shown all of what he's got yet tonight. He's just very quietly worked his way up to the 6th position after starting 10th. Want to give a call, though, to another driver in the 16 back there in 13th position right now. Tom Hamika. That 16 car has worked its way from 20th up to 13th, as has the 028 of Jack Pellicker, 17th to 10th right now. for the 028. So a couple of guys making some really good moves through the field here early on, quietly clawing their way to contention. Keep in mind, we got about 40 laps before the halfway break.
Yeah, 40 laps, and it can go really fast, or it can go really long, just depending on the course. Meanwhile, the 62 was battling up with the 099 of Zach Knowles. We got a wreck on the 5 machine. The 5 machine is around in turns number 2. Looks like we're going to stay green.
How did Austin Yarborough manage to keep that car down on the apron enough that we did not bring out a caution flag? 61 laps on the board. Now the caution flag's out. And it's trouble on the front straightaway.
I can report to Wendell Stratton. The Wendell Stratton has got the rear damage on that number 1 machine as well.
Yeah, you're going to get a look at the replay here on the Austin Yarborough machine, and we're going to ascertain it was one of the cars as Yarborough was coming through here to the caution flag into the inside wall. And it was actually the Donnie Moore entry. Donnie Moore was well outside the top 20 in the number 26 machine and falls all the way to the tail of the lead lap. But Tim Bills in the 37, Jordan Polly in the 03, also getting shuffled back towards the tail. But Donnie Moore, the 26, the official cause of this caution here with 61 laps complete, got a piece bred of that inside safer barrier.
Yeah, that was a bit of carnage just there on the racetrack, and I tell you what, there was a few drivers to be lucky not to hurt their car even more than what they did. But man, you really got to feel sorry for that 5 machine who was running up inside of the top 5. Now he's going to have to go to the back of the pack.
And you know, that's one of the things that is so tough here at Martinsville, because a track position is so critical. You have one mistake and it can ruin your shot at victory. Austin Yarborough was one of the drivers that started this race up inside the top 10, was 8th due to finishing 2nd in his heat race, in heat race number 2. And now he currently sits 26th. As how about Scott Howell in the 088 has been running 2nd for most of this race, Brett, and now Howell gonna have to go to the tail end of the line. He actually gets an end of the longest line penalty from race control. I want to check exactly on what that's for here in just a second, but that's heartbreaking for that team. They had the speed to contend tonight.
Yeah, I was just listening into the drivers' meeting before we actually took off, and the admins did say that they do have about 4 or 5 admins watching this. The main admin will make the call. He will then process it on to the other admins to see if they feel the same way, and they will make a decision based on that. So, obviously, the race directors and race control having a little bit of discussion on the reason why that caution was out, and they have given the longest line to Scott Howe in the 088, who, like you said, has been running 2nd for all of the race.
And now he will restart from the tail. Who that is going to be a big break for is the driver who will assume the outside of the front row for this restart, the 08 Brian Fallon, who was one of the heat race winners, won heat 3 on Friday night, and now sits on the front row. Wendell Stratton has made a nice rebound up to the 3rd spot. Zach Knowles up to 4th from 16th. Pace cars off. We're going back green flag racing, Brett, this time by off turn 4, and the jump for Spearman, I think, if he can time it right, although he's been a little slow off the gun tonight, and caution flag back out immediately.
Yeah, that could have been very disastrous for a few of those drivers. I think the 47, Kyle Leverall, didn't see the caution come out and just almost, he was going 3 wide. Balls deep into turn 1 and 2, but luckily cooler heads prevailed right now on that.
The 54, Shannon Jones, was slow up on the apron in turn number 4. And, you know, I think this is really going to be heartbreaking because of where the caution came out, Brett. It's going to give, we thought it was going to give the 08 of Brian Fallon the lead, but I think because the caution came out just before they crossed the start-finish line, Spearman going to get the lead back here with, or going to be credited with getting the lead back.
Very, very important. And as I said before, the bottom line is where you want to be, and that's where you want to be on the restarts as well. So it looks like the 92 of Spearman will gain control of that race lead and have control of that inside line going into turn 1 on the next restart.
So under caution now, closing in on 70 laps in the record. We're closing in on that halftime break. At going to come out right around at all but 3.
Trucking has always been a part of me. It started years ago when my dad and granddad were hauling vegetables to market in Liverpool. The family immigrated to Canada in the late 60s and settled near Alliston, Ontario. I bought my first truck in 1982 and Mercer Trucking was born. Today, Mercer Trucking has over 50 trucks and terminals in Toronto and Los Angeles. Our storage facilities at both terminals can handle any size of distribution needs throughout North America. We service the continental U.S., including Hawaii and Alaska. We run over 120,000 miles per month and some of the best equipment on the road today. We specialize in less than truckload shipments, show freight, we do rush team service deliveries, and haul your refrigerated or heated product. Our regular team service from Canada to California is second to none, and our staff and drivers are among the best in the business. I'm proud of our people and what they can achieve. Trucking is in my blood, it's my livelihood, and it's what I do best.
Welcome back to LS. Now coming in break caution. The winner of this all the way through. Brett in agreement that the road at 92 car.
Yeah, you're not right. 2 on the outside. You 16, he's worked himself
far. I mean, here tonight, a lap or so, like pace cars, we bring out a caution. He's close. Stratton to the left. Time they get off.
Everybody ourselves, but the place to be, but you know, 4 times. That would have given
15 laps. Guys, one heat. Knowles in the any fenders. 099 moved his position after.
Meanwhile, the 92 of Tyler Spearman has just checked out from the number 1 of Wendell Stratton as well. Stratton goes to the outside. He's lost something like obviously broken the car, but he's now let the 08 of Brian Fallon move into second spot. So
you can get a replay. He got very into the turn 3 end of the race. As it was growing the deficit to race leader Ty Spearman. We're 6 laps away from that competition break coming at lap number 98 as we see the leaders starting to work just a little bit of lapped traffic here. The 64 machine, one of the cars, going to go down a lap, I believe, or potentially the 54 of Shannon Jones. Looked like the 54 of Jones going to be the car up on the outside and going a lap down. But as it is, still 30 cars on the lead lap in this one. 94 going in the books this time. So there's a caution flag on the racetrack, and this is about going to take us to the halfway break.
Yeah, big pile up on the main straightaway as we're just on board with the 92. He's gonna
Oh
go with
my,
car
the
upside
70 of
down.
Corey Wyatt. Brett up and over. As you got about 5 cars all in this. Yikes.
Yeah, the 5 as well. Austin J. Yarbrough, he's involved in that one, and a lot of smoke coming from that number 5 machine as well, as he's going to get a tow back to the pit. So that's a pretty rough night for what a driver who was inside the top 5. He probably in the opening 20 laps.
Yeah. We'll get a look at the replay right now, and just the wild ride for the 70 of Corey Wyatt. Up on his side, climbing the wall. Yarbrough's around backwards, and that's not the end of the race he wanted to see, Brett. You know, he started up in the top 10, thought he was going to have a strong run, and not meant to be in this one.
Not meant to be, but that is racing, unfortunately, and he was just involved in other people's mess, but you know, that's what happens on these tight little oval tracks.
Indeed it is. Under yellow, and the man to beat has been Ty Spearman in the 92 all night long. We're going to take a break, come back, and take you to the halfway break here in the Rocket Tire Services 300 at Martinsville Speedway. This is LSRTV, the voice of sim racing.
In the outside contact made 56 slides it at a 4. Gonna be at the stripe. Dead even. Give it to Ryan Truex. Truex is your winner over Tandy.
Welcome back to LSRTV, wrapping up what is, I think we're using as the halfway break. A caution coming out at lap 94 for a vicious crash on the front straightaway. We'll recap that in a moment, but as we take the halfway lap here, Adam Benefiel in the 112 going to assume the lead over the 92 of Ty Spearman. As we complete halfway, we'll take you through the field in a moment. Benefiel to the point at lap 100, though, and he's running away as they move to turns 1 and 2. Let's take you a look through the field as it's time for the LSRTV mid-race report presented by iRacing. Benefiel has just taken over the top spot. Ty Spearman in the 92 to second. Bentley Glazer in the 3 to third. We'll get back to that in a moment. Caution is out at lap 102. Looks like trouble for the Barry Hines machine, the 99. We'll see if we can't follow up on that in a second. But, boy, Brett, I liked the jump on the restart for the 112 of Benefiel. He took off and left.
Yeah, it was going to be interesting as we see the replay up on the screen now. But yeah, it was interesting to see Benefield, how he was going to handle the 92 of Ty Spearman, who's been out in front all race. So now Spearman has got the disadvantage of starting on the outside, but can he make the move on the 112 of Adam Benefield on this next restart?
Yeah, we're going to have to see. And now, you know, this is the first time all night that Spearman hasn't had the preferred lane, and I think that's going to make it very, very, very tough now for the 92 to get that track position back, Brett, because once you get hung on that outside, there's really nowhere you can go.
No, there's not, unless the two drivers really pull away from the field on the initial restart. But I just don't see it happening with the drivers that are that talented and that fast on the actual restarts. And you know, it's going to be a tough road to get that 92 back on the inside and take over the race lead from Adam Benefield.
I promised you a look through the field, and let's do that now. Under caution, working what's going to be about lap 106 or 107 by the time we go back to green. For the leaders right now, it's 105 complete. Adam Benefield, your leader. Ty Spearman second. Bentley Glazer third. Zach Knowles is fourth. And Tommy Ryan fifth. Wendell Stratton is sixth. Chris Watkins seventh. Jack Pellicker eighth. Brian Fallon ninth. And Austin Jones is up to 10th. Scott Howell has worked his way from a tail-end Charlie penalty earlier on to be in 11th right now, with Jeff Hoggard 12th, Tom Hemeka 13th, and Marvin Turnmeyer Jr. is 14th. Matt Chinoski is 15th, the final car on the lead lap here at lap 105. William Payne a lap down in 16th, as is Dale Owen 17th, Paul Fugate 18th, Jeff Mills 19th, and Andrew Dixon 20th. Kyle Leveralt is 21st, Jordan Polly 22nd, 23rd Tim Bills, 24th Scott Martin 2 laps down, 25th Thomas Axum, Barry Hines, then Austin Coop, Donnie Moore, Corey Wyatt, Cameron Hobbs 30th, followed by Austin Yarborough, Nicholas Lemberger, Mason White, Cam Brown, Tanner Cook, most of the rest of these cars out of the event. Shannon Jones 36th, Zach Robleski, Adam Poff, Daniel Williamson, David Richer. That's your 40 cars that took the green flag tonight, and many of them still running, many of them damaged. But that's a look at your full field rundown here with 106 laps complete, powered by Ford and iRacing. So we double them up for one to go, Brett, and the 112 versus the 92. And I told you on the last restart I liked Benefield's get up and go. I also told you that he knows when the time's right to get up and leave, and I think we have found that time.
Yeah, I definitely I agree with Adam Benefield. He's the pace setter right now as we come into turn 4. Keep an eye on the 92, just edging closer. He's from about half car length as we're going to go green. But man, what a jump by Adam Benefield as he's going to lead lap 108. He's going to lead it down into turn number 1 and 2. Spearman trying to get on the inside, can't make a move on the outside. Now he's going to duck him behind the 112, and he's going to have that bottom groove. So this is going to be a great battle up front. Meanwhile, the battle for third between Glazer and Zach Knowles in the 3 of the 099 is awesome. Side by side in the turns 3 and 4.
That battle for third is going to end up taking out Ty Spearman in second if they're not careful. It's Knowles in the 099 that was working to the inside. Caution flag on the racetrack at 109, but you know, Knowles about got into the back of Spearman just then, and it got real dicey for a moment. Trouble Shannon Jones again, Brett, the Army machine, the 54. I think that's about the third caution that Jones has been involved in tonight.
Yeah, you just wonder how much damage is on that race car. As we do see, we have a look at the replay right now.
So under caution for, I think we're up to about 12 now tonight. In just 110 laps of this race, Benefield leads it. Spearman, Glazer, Knowles, Ryan, the top 5 at Martinsville Speedway. We'll be back in a moment here from the Paperclip. You're watching LSRTV coverage of the Rocket Tire Services 300.
Did you know the lion's sense of vision is so powerful, it actually enables nearby creatures to see better? Here we see lions assisting the offspring of others, while their parents are elsewhere in the wild. Brilliant, isn't it? Making the wild kingdom look much better indeed. Do good, be a lion.
Welcome back to LSRTV. Back under caution, you're going to see a look right now. The 013 and the 90 both go around in turn number 4 to bring out the yellow flag. It started ahead of them, but for Thomas Axum and the 90 of Marvin Turnmeyer Jr., they're the ones, Brett, that are caught in the aftermath. So, you know, they go around, but it was more of one of them their chain reaction deals that we see so often at these short tracks.
Yeah, you're not wrong. And a lot of smoke coming from Marvin Turnmeyer Jr.'s car. So that 90 machine is pretty much all but done and dusted right now.
And it looked like Paul Fugate, the 44, may have spun the tires and kicked that off. So unfortunate, but you know, again, working the caution flag once again. 12th caution of this race, 11 total lead changes. You see it on the screen right there. And again, working caution flag with what's going to be, we're closing quickly on 120 complete, 80 laps to go. So it's a little unfortunate, but you know, we circulate, we try to get it back going, and we're going to see what happens, Brett. Adam Benefield, though, has managed to put himself firmly in command.
Yeah, and we're just talking, you know, just while those brakes are going just there, the Spearman in the 92 was working to the outside, but Adam Benefield, he's just too good on the bottom at this stage, with about 78 or 79 laps remaining when we go green. That number 112 car is going to be the one to beat right now.
Again, Benefield, one of those guys looking to make a run at the iRacing Pro Series, the Oval Pro Series for the 2016 winter season, and you know, showcasing why he's one of the best drivers on the sim. And holding off the driver who we thought was going to dominate this race in Ty Spearman, but really has just not been able to do so. So in the second half, once he lost that inside lane, he's had a hard time getting back to it. And as we circulate again under the 12th Service Master Clean caution of the night, Benefiel, Spearman, Bentley Glazer, Zach Knowles, Wendell Stratton, your top 5. And I'm not surprised now that we're really starting to see some of these guys who started back in the field, who have avoided carnage, work their way to the front. How about a call, Brett, to the 50 of Jeff Hoggard, 34th to 11th in this race?
Yeah, a little bit damage to that rear end of that 50 machine, but not much damage you can do. Not much you can do about it with 121 laps in. I believe they might be starting single file here.
This is interesting, and it may well be the field single file back to the green flag, so we have gone to single file restarts, and Benefiel pulling away as they head down to turn number 1 on lap 122. So 78 to go, Brett, when they get back to the line. A 2-car length advantage for Adam Benefiel Chevrolet.
He's been back in second, third. He's been closer in that number 3 machine. And you go back to the 99 of Zach Knowles in 4th. And Wendell Stratton in that number 1 machine. He's called his way back up to a top 5 spot, as you do see another caution.
And for the 13th time tonight, the caution flag flies with now 77 laps to go. So we'll slow them down, we'll re-rack them, we'll restack them. We'll do this business and come back in a moment. From Martinsville Speedway, you're watching the Rocket Tire Services 300 on LSRTV, the voice of sim racing.
outside contact made. 56 slides it into 4. Who's going to be into the stripe? Dead even. Give it to Ryan Truex. Truex is your winner over Tandy.
Welcome back to LSRTV under caution again here at Martinsville Speedway. 67 laps to go, so we're now 2/3 of the way through the Rocket Tire Services 300 for the American Sim Racing Association. Jacob Seelman, Brett Wheeler in the Inside Sim Racing Broadcast Tower, and working yet another service for clean caution, and this one down to 19 of Austin Jones, and I think as you described it a minute ago, Jones just flat didn't lift.
Yeah, just drove into his left rear quarter then and spun the 0.19, so Austin Jones being given a penalty to go to the end of the line right now. So Austin Jones was running in about, I think he was about the top, close to the top 10, but just flat out just drilled the 19.
Yeah, he was on the back side of the top 10, so that's a bit of a tough break. But the guy who it's not a tough break for, and I'm sure the guy who's loving just racking up laps that he's leading right now, is Adam Benefiel in the 112. This ASRA event now, he's led since lap 100, so if he keeps this up, he may well lead the most laps of any driver tonight. But as you noted on that last restart, Brett, the 92 of Ty Spearman has really started to pick up the pace and actually got right on the back deck lid of that Roll Speed Dynamics Chevrolet late model stock car for Benefiel just before the caution came out. So he may not be done. That Ford Mustang, he may not be done just yet.
That 92, he was about a tenth quicker. That Benefield almost on those last two laps before the caution came out, but with Benefield just holding the bottom line and just doing enough and all that he can just to hold that line, it's going to be tough for the 92 to get around of the 112.
Adam Benefiel's a wily veteran. He knows just how fast he needs to drive to stay ahead of everybody. The problem is if you get bumped, which is so often the case here at Martinsville. But we got 64 laps to go, and we're coming to the restart now. Green flag flies, and it looked like Spearman spun the tires in a big way. Caution back out. They delayed it. Benefiel thought we were going, and we're not going. That's what that was. So we'll try this again. Pace car will pick them back up and just as quickly go off the racetrack. So let's try this one more time, Brett Wheeler, shall we? Adam Benefiel, that Roll Speed Dynamics 112, ready to lead them off turn 4. Let's try for a restart here with 137 complete. Now the American Ethanol green flag flies. We're back underway, and Benefiel doesn't even have a car length to turn 1. Spearman up over the curbs, and it's a 3-man fight for the lead. Bentley Blazer right there in the 3 car, trying to do battle with Spearman for second.
Yeah, Glacier almost took a look to the inside in turns 3 and 4 instead, or coming down the back straight over, but better judgment thought not to go there, and still with about 62 laps to go, better judgment made the right call, just the falling line behind on the 92. Spearman is still holding down that second spot with Glazer back in third.
Right now, I'm still a firm believer that this is Adam Benefiel's race unless Ty Spearman can show the same speed that he did early on. But as we've said so many times, Brett, on these short tracks especially, catching somebody is one thing. Passing them's another. There's 2 ways to do it. 1, earn the respect and pass them clean. 2, win the race by virtue of the chrome horn.
Yeah, I'm sure we won't just find out just yet. I'm sure we're going to leave it to about the last 10 laps. He's going to look to the inside, so the challenge for the race lead is going to happen in the Spearman of 92. He's going to take back over the race lead out of turn number 4.
How about that move? With 59 laps to go, a power push to the point for Ty Spearman leads this race on lap 141. So we are just inside 60 laps to go now, and Spearman said, hey, it's time to go. I want my position out front. Back he went, and he took it.
Almost 50 laps since he'd actually regained, since he lost the lead to Benefiel, but now Ty Spearman is just absolutely running away with this one, almost 2 tenths clear. Adam Benefiel in that second spot. Third is still Glazer. Fourth, we go back to the 0.99 of Zach Knowles. Remaining at the top 5 is the number 1 car of Windle Stratton.
That's a look at the top 5. A little further back, Tommy Ryan in the 62 is 6th. The 028, Jack Pellicker, 7th. Jeff Hoggard, 8th. Matt Shanoski, 9th. And Tom Hammock at 10th. Brian Fallon, who started, one of the heat winners, started 5th, has fallen all the way to the 11th position now, with Dale O in 39th to 12th. The hard charger so far in this race. Don't consider it done, though. Now, the look to the outside as Benefiel going through lap traffic here in second. He's got 8 car lengths to make up to Spearman, but boy, oh boy, this heavy traffic is not doing the 112 Brett any favor.
No, definitely not. We just had a good battle between, back in 9th and 10th spot, between the 50th Jeff Hoggard and Matt Shanoski. In the 35s, they ran side by side for a few laps, but now it's going to be Hoggard who takes over that 8th spot. We go back up front. Look at the battle for 4th now. He's heating up as Wendell Stratton gets on the inside of the 99 of Zach Knowles. So Stratton, he's up in the 4th and he's trying to gain 3rd from Bentley Glacier.
Yeah, and how about a little bit of contact right there with one of the lap down cars between the 099 of Zach Knowles and the 7 of Zach Wroblewski. They got together for just an instant as Knowles was working to the high lane of the racetrack. He had to give up some time, falls back to 5th, caution flag out. '15th caution flag of the night, and looking to try to find where exactly the trouble broke out as we cross the stripe now. And as unfortunate as it is, closing in on 50 laps to go. So under caution, Ty Spearman, Adam Benefiel, still your top 2. Bentley Glazer 3rd, Wendell Stratton 4th, Zach Knowles in 5th. That's how they run right now. 50 to go. We'll step away, come back, and see what we can do about getting a little bit of green flag going here in the closing laps at Martinsville Speedway. The Rocket Tire Services 300, sanctioned by the ASRA, is live on LSRTV, the voice of sim racing. just as we're coming back here, here on LSRTV, and I think Brett Wheeler, you're going to tell me for the second time tonight I jinxed it. Caution flag flies at lap 155. Ty Spearman still your leader. You saw we went back to double file on that restart, and it looks like maybe a little bit of trouble back in the pack once again. We'll work on getting a replay here in a moment, but again, under caution for, I think, the 16th time tonight. And an apology coming over the radio from Kim. May have been something that he was involved in, and I think sure enough that apology was telling us something. Here's a look at the replay from the LSRTV camera archives, and Cam Brown issuing the apology to the number 61 machine, and an EOL penalty for Andrew Dixon as well under this caution. Kyle Leverall started with basically what that equates to is chaos here at the 76 of Andrew Riddle's gonna get the one, and our confused steam cautions all starting to run.
Coming 40 laps to go, even inside line, people are going to be more aggressive, so a couple of cautions, but let's hope we can get somewhat of a decent green flag running here.
If Evan Pasoko were here in the booth with us, Brett, he would say, yeah, but what are the odds of that? And I'm going to use the Evanism right here and basically say, what are the odds of that? I think the longest green flag run we've had tonight is about, 10 laps. The record number of cautions for the Martinsville late model race is 21 in 2007. We're getting close to that here. We've had 16 cautions tonight. We've got 40 laps to go. There's enough time to get to that record. We don't want to, but there's enough time to get there. Benefiel leads 160 at the stripe. They're wheel to wheel going for the top spot off 2. They slice it out. Here comes Benefiel, giving a look, giving a bump into turn 3. They're all going after the win now.
Yeah, at least meanwhile, Knowles now, but Knowles is going to stay on the outside. He's trying to get a move. He's trying to get down to the bottom, but can't get it because Stratton is just holding that inside line.
Meanwhile, the battle for the lead between the top 2 continues to intensify. Benefiel, a car length and a half in arrears of Ty Spearman, the Ford, leading the Chevrolet as we close down 37 laps to go. This time by the stripe, we finally settled it out, at least for a few laps, but the pole sitter trying to drive away again.
Early on in this race, he was a tenth quicker than Benefiel. It's showing again, so the 92 of Ty Spearman, he's got that 92 working, he's got it glued on the bottom side of the speedway.
Closing down, and at 35 to go when they come back to the stripe, and I think Spearman has finally decided, okay, we're not letting anybody have a chance at the $50 payday but us. We're running away from the field. It's up to almost 3/4 of a second as they cross the stripe. 165 in, 35 to go. Working on a battle for third. Bentley Glazer throws the block on Wendell Stratton. 3 and 1, going at it in 1.
Stratton to the inside of Glazer now. Stratton, he's going to take it into turns 3 and 4. He's going to have the bottom side of the speedway coming off of turn 4. The battle for third. Give it to Stratton. Glazer on the outside, fighting back. They go wheel to wheel, door to door. Give it to Glazer at the line.
By 1/1000th of a second, he had the spot at the line. He'll Speedway off turn number 2 and open the door for the 099 of Zach Knowles to make the move. He's in 5th. It's now a 3-car fight for the final podium spot as Ty Spearman running away. It's up to 1.2 seconds over Adam Benefiel, who's starting to fade just a little bit. If you're going to make the move, you got to make it now. 32 laps to go. And I'm not going to say it, Brett. I'm just not, because this is some of the best racing we've seen all night.
Well, you didn't want to say it, but you said it anyway, so it's bound to happen sooner or later. Here comes Stratton. He's closing in on the 112. A benefit right now down the back straightaway. This number 1 machine, it's getting faster and faster as the race goes on. More green flag. Let's keep an eye on the 1 of Wendell Stratton. He's going to go to the outside now. He's going to take over second. Benefield just falling back. Not sure what happened out of turn number 4.
That would be a hand out the window. You're faster than me. Go see if you can chase him down. Move by Adam Benefiel. Now Wendell Stratton takes over the second position on lap 169. 30 to go this time by the stripe, and Ty Spearman's got a 2-second lead.
2-second lead, and he can see 2-3 lap cars in front of him, probably about a straightaway. So it's only going to be about 3 or 4 laps before he can catch those guys, and then it's going to be all on, because lap traffic can play a factor in these kind of races.
It can, but I don't know. Well, a restart's gonna play the factor, because we're under caution for the 17th time tonight. Trouble for check Austin Coop and the Jeff Hoggard machine, the 50 in the wall hard right in front of the start-finish line to bring the caution flag out at lap 171. All right, Brett, now what do you do if you're Ty Spearman? Now you've got Adam Benefiel on your rear deck lid. We'll take a look at the replay of what happened with the 50 of Hoggard, who is still parked at the start-finish line. But boy, now you've got the guy that you really don't want on your rear bumper, on your rear bumper.
Well, this is where strategy comes into play. I'm going to have, 21, 22 laps by the time we get the green flag. We know how quick the number 1 of Stratton is. You got to wait, you got to pass by from Benefield. So it's all going to come down to strategy. And if Stratton can get the jump coming off of turn 4, if he takes that lead and we get a caution, that's going to put him on the inside of the pole line. So it's going to be all up to Ty Spearman to get that jump off of turn number 4 and get to the stripe.
Could that have been a strategy play on Benefiel's part to make sure he was on the inside lane if we had the another caution like we're having here?
I know we'd have to probably try and check with him a bit. By the way, it was Benefiel. Stratton was actually driving away from him. Probably 3 or 4 laps after he got past him. So. You called it before, couldn't you? Just hey, you're faster than me. You go and by. You try and chase him. I've got nothing for him.
It's going to be interesting to see, and now we're looking at the. I'm looking at the numbers, and Jeff Hoggard actually just fell out of the sim briefly, so it was a connection issue on the 50 of Hoggard that he was running on the lead lap too, and unfortunately looks like going to be out of contention to win. Now 4 laps down in 22nd, still hanging on to decent positioning, but 20 cars on the lead lap, and Spearman, Stratton, Benefiel going to be your top 3, as we're only going to have 22, maybe 23 to go when we go back racing.
I wonder if we're going to go back to the double file or single file restarts. We might actually go back to double file restarts. The one of Wendell Stratton is just looking to move to the outside as a pace. The lights go out on the pace truck.
Step away for just a moment to actually flag momentarily with one Ty Spearman, Wendell Stratton, Adam. You got a 1-3 who's in the air, and again Spearman does not get the go on the restart. Stratton leads 177 down to 1. Benefiel can't get into Spearman. Spearman gets away and takes the lead.
Spearman takes the lead, but Stratton, he's trying to work back on the outside. He's down to duck in behind him, so Stratton He's not going to lead, so Spearman's going to lead lap 178 there. Stratton, he's going to go back to the bottom in behind Spearman. Benefield back there in third. Meanwhile, the race is for fourth and fifth between Knowles and Glaciers. We're going to go on the yellow.
Caution flag number 18, Brett, and now it's not me that's jinxing it, I think, at this point. We're going to get a look and see if we can't figure out what the cause of the caution was. But what this is going to do, actually, Brett, is put us to a restart now, I think, with 16 to go, something like that.
Yeah, not many laps left for Stratton to make a move. And Spearman, he was good for half the race. Lost it for about 30 or 40 laps. And now you regain the lead. And it's going to come down to how Stratton can make the move, if he's going to attempt to make the move, if he's fast enough to make the move.
As it is, we're going to step away for a moment. We'll be back for what we hope is going to be the final restart right after this on LSRTV at Martinsville Speedway. Welcome back to LSRTV. Jacob Seelman, Brett Wheeler in the booth for the Rocket Tire Services 300. Leading into tomorrow's run into the Valley Star Credit Union 300 for NASCAR late model stock cars at the Martinsville Speedway. This one, the virtual version, and Ty Spearman basically pulling a lead pulliam on the field, dominating from the pole. He's led most of the laps tonight. He leads as we're going to get a restart with 16 to go. Wendell Stratton trying to make the move. Spearman on the gun. Green flag back in the air. He'll lead the lap by 7/1000ths of a second. Caution's back out. Big stack up back in the pack.
Yeah, it looked like a 0.99 of Zach Knowles. Just looked from one on my end. Looked like a lag issue just then. He went upside down, I'm sure.
I say back in the pack. It was third. Knowles. And one of those, it looked like somebody blinked out, and by the time he came back, Zach was there, and upside down goes the 0.99 for Knowles, and under caution we go here with, that's going to set up restart with 10 to go. Oh, boy.
And I bet you Zach Knowles going, oh, Knowles. He was had a good race. Was in pretty much inside the top 5, inside the top 10 the entire race, and just that one little blink connection issue has just cost him in the last probably 15 laps.
And that was a vicious flip up into the catch fence, and just a momentary blink out, and by the time he knows any better, he's up in the fence. A couple of cars are collected with him. the 53 involved in this one. So tough break for Zach Knowles as his night ends. Austin Coop collected in it, and again, about 10 to go when we go back green. Brett, if you're Ty Spearman, you just want to see you just want to see us get to 5 to go at this point. So if a caution comes out, you know you're the winner.
And I'm sure he's counting down those laps, and by the time we go green, what do we got? Probably 2. He really only needs to get sort of 3 or 4 green flag laps. Then he can not worry about it. If caution comes out way, he's going to win it under caution. So if you can get about 3 to 5 more laps in, he knows he's got this in the bag. That one machine, Wendell Stratton, has got something on the restarts, but he just can't get around the 92.
It's going to be interesting to see. And now, see, the big winner on that exchange was Adam Benefiel. He moves back up to 3rd in this whole shuffle. And, oh boy, I don't know if he's got enough to maybe give the bump. It's going to...
No holds barred. In pit lane.
For second. That and 1 now. 9 to go. Spearman, Stratton, Benefiel. We got time for about 1 more caution. Spearman brings him down slow. Green flag. Benefiel making the move to the inside. Dives it in deep. Can't make it work. It was a dead heat at the line for the lead. Caution is out.
That is so cruel for Wendell Stratton. He had the run coming off a turn 2. He had the run coming off a turn 4. I guarantee he would have been the race leader had it not been for that caution. And that has all but blown his chances here to take this race lead, I believe.
I wouldn't be so sure about that. He's going to have 1 more restart. It looks like the trouble was for the 86 of Austin Jones, and that is going to set up a restart with 3 to go. Maybe a green-white checker. Oh, boy.
I was just see the replay now. I wonder if actually he had the run coming off a 2. He would have been in front, so it looks like Wendell Stratton is going to be the race leader, so he's going to have that bottom groove.
Wow. Stratton gets the point. I mean, if you're Ty Spearman, you've got to be sitting in the cockpit right now going, "Are you kidding me?" Unbelievable. I don't even know if I know what to say right now, Brett, because that was just an unbelievable turn of events here.
Now, do we go back to double file restarts or we go back to single file? This is going to play a big part with, I think we're going to have maybe 3 to go. We might even have a green-white checker. So at the moment, we currently stand at 6 to go. Make that 5 as they come past the start-finish line. This Ty Spearman, he's got to be absolutely filthy. So I've led majority of this race. I've been dominant for so long, and now it's all come undone in the last 5 laps.
Yeah, and lights are not going out right here, so we'll at least be 3 to go when we get the restart. We may well be 2 to go. Who you like, Brett, if I made you pick?
I'm going to have to stick with the one on the inside, but it's a flip of a coin. If the 92 Spearman can get a run on the outside, we know how fast that race car is. It all depends if there's going to be a caution. Flip of a coin, I'm going to take the 1.
I'll go with the 92. I think he may have learned something from the restart the 1 put on him, and maybe he's the one that puts the nose out in front at the conclusion of this one. Very dicey. Stratton, your leader. Lights are out. The biggest thing here is once we go green, the next flag ends this race. Gonna be good. We're about to crown a winner of some nature here at Martinsville Speedway. The Rocket Tire Services 300 has come down to a 3-lap dash. Stratton on the inside, Spearman on the outside. A mile and a half to settle a winner here at Martinsville in the late model stock cars. We're ready, we're going. Green flag back in the air, and it looks like at the line, it's going to be Spearman who uses him up into one. Door slams Benefield to second. Oh, in trouble. One car around. Big crash. That's going to do it. Spearman had the shot. Spearman pushes Benefield into the fence, but Wendell Stratton is going to come to get the win. Spearman led. Wow. And a huge started with the 08 Owl top. The green flag here. The leaders are coming to the caution and the white, but what a move. And you're going to watch as Scott Howell gets turned into chaos behind. And, you know, again, Brett, Ty Spearman, what might have been, he wasn't very good on restarts all night. And it was that restart just before the last one that cost him. He needed to get the bumper out in front. He doesn't do it. It gives Wendell Stratton the lead. And now, as they come off turn 4, it's going to give Wendell Stratton the win in the inaugural Rocket Tire Services 300. Caution and checkers at the end of this one. Wendell Stratton, the 1, finishes P1. He'll take the checkered flag at Martinsville. Benefield second, Spearman third, Bentley Glazer, Jack Pellicker, the top 5, followed by Tom Hamika, Brian Fallon, Jeff Mills, Dale Owen, Chris Watkins. The rest of your top 10, but Wendell Stratton does it. How about it? He's going to burn it down on the front stretch, and we'll hear from him here in a couple of minutes. We're going to do some business, but we'll come back with the LSRTV post-race show right after this. Stratton celebrating, and he just runs the car right into the fence. Stratton, your winner at Martinsville. Back after this.
Did you know that Lion's sense of vision is so powerful, it actually enables nearby creatures to see better? Here we see lions assisting the offspring of others. while their parents are elsewhere in the wild. Brilliant, isn't it? Making the Wild Kingdom look much better indeed. Do good. Be a lion.
Of the session and the end, the track response track, to have the track and narrated by where they should be. The track interaction there. It would be easy to just your car interacts with adding temperature accurately with everybody basically broadcast on. One of the is being able to you would expect. Have it be bit of a preview the effect and purposes. So what's going on with the track is see in right here. See the temperature. Track has become very warm running the car. So
and on the car, get in on the finish and to night. It's been a down to
just over an hour and a half. Congratulations to Windle. The 10 laps.
now we're gonna head
have about 20 having a bad one. Well, I mean, it was pretty much
it. No, it's not the pay you wanted, but
all the guys, a great group of just a bunch of didn't end up as I wanted it to, but
come a decent forward. And this race comes back around next year, you may just have a score to settle.
I can guarantee.
Third and now interesting for Adam Benefiel, who actually took the lead away from Ty Spearman right at the halfway point. Adam, you took the lead at lap 100, led a stint of 35, maybe 40 laps, but it just looked like down the stretch something faded in your car and you didn't have enough to challenge for the win. What was the difference there over those final 60 laps or so tonight?
Well, first off, I got to thank Taylor Hurst. I mean, he made a perfect call on that pit stop at that halfway segment. I mean, we went from 6th or 7th up to the lead, and I mean, his call put us in, where we needed to be with the track position. But we just got going. I mean, we had a car that was good on a short run. Ty had the car to win. But at Martinsville, you can still win being a couple tenths off. You just got to make them race your race. And I messed up, and Ty got around me. So once Wendell got to me, I mean, he was a rocket ship all night. So I just didn't even fight him. Really just trying to think about the end of the race. And, having a late race caution, I'd rather start on the inside than I would the outside. And, that last restart right there, I tried to make something happen. It's coming down. It's the last one. You gotta try something. And, karma came around, I guess. So, they can call it what they want. But, it was a good run for us. Came home second. It was a good run.
You get a solid chunk of the purse here tonight. I know it's not the $50 for going home victorious, but definitely proving a point in this 112 tonight, Adam. Was there anything, the way it shook out in the final 100, was there anything you feel like you could have done differently to maybe put yourself in a better position at the end?
No, I think the team put us right where we needed to. You know, Taylor, he made the right calls and he put it in my hands, and I made an error and I lost the lead, and so then we just was trying to try something at the end, and we come one spot short, but we was there. They knew we was here.
That they did, Adam, and I know a lot of people go into the deal. You mentioned Taylor Hurst. I know there's a lot of people over there on that side of things that make the deal go round. Who do you need to thank? Who makes it happen for you, the 112 and the Roll Speed Dynamics crew?
Yeah, Real Speed Dynamics first off, and all the guys at APC. Especially Brad Newman and Taylor Hurst tonight. They didn't, unfortunately, me motive. And he nailed it. So it was a fun night.
All right, Adam. We know we often see you around the sim, and we know we will see you going forward here. A runner-up may not be a win, but definitely a solid day. Congratulations, and we'll see you here going forward.
Yep, thanks. One more thing, go check out Racer Chaser online. One of the best write-up articles. Go check them out. They're awesome. Have a good night.
Adam Benefiel second here at Martinsville Speedway, and going to head down now to Gatorade Victory Lane. Wendell Stratton picking up the victory as we, wow. I don't know what to say, honestly, after 200 laps in this one, Wendell. Walk me through the final 10, though. You lead 10 laps all night, and the final 9 of them are the ones that end up paying you $50 and a trophy here at Martinsville. Talk about the restart where you use the move on the outside to just have enough to take the lead from Ty before that caution came out, because that was really the move that won you this race in the end.
Yeah, the car was really good on the outside. I was kind of surprised with it. The new dynamic surface kind of like lets you get a little more grip out there. So when we went into the turn, I was like, I'd rather been in second than third, because it seems like third, you get the guy outside of you there, and he was able to hold with you for a few laps, and it was a little bit harder to clear him. But when I was on the outside there, I got to the center, and I knew Spearman would probably pull away from me if we got on a run, so I had to make the move kind of soon. So I got up on the outside there and was able to clear him, and just as I got around him, like it was like instantaneous caution came out. I was like, oh, that's awesome.
You get the luck. The final restart, you were just able to pull away. I know Ty was trying to take a shot. He door slammed you going down into turn 1. You were able to pull away. I mean, were you nervous there was going to be another shot coming to the back end if it had stayed green?
I think I could have gotten far enough away after if we had a little bit of green flag run, because I think Spearman kind of gotten buried a little bit. But if it would have stayed green for I think we just had a couple more laps left, I think I'd been able to stay ahead.
You get the win. This is the first one that ASRA has put on. It was a big night. I know there was a lot of cautions. I know you were one of the guys I heard over the radio at one point say tonight, we just need some green flag laps, but you get the win. How big is this win in the grand scope of things? I know it's a huge event on the sim as far as ASRA is concerned.
Oh yeah, it felt amazing. I wasn't really expecting it when I was in second there. I was like, Spearman's got this. I'll take a second place. I mean, a first would obviously be better, but I mean, however it turns out, I'll take it either way you look at it. It was awesome.
I know there's a lot of people that go into making this program look good. The one finishes P1, Wendell, and that's not possible by yourself. Sponsors, shout-outs, supporters, who do you need to thank? Who makes it happen for you and the crew?
Yeah, I'd like to shout out my crew. I got my spotter tonight, Mark Gamick. Got dang old Daryl Hamlin sitting there, and Joe Schaefer, and Davey. He's not with us tonight. He's don't know where he is, but yeah, it was awesome. I'd like to shout out the ALS.
Wendell, you get to celebrate the 200th. Congratulations, my friend. You're the Wendell Scott the win. Adam Benefiel second. And Chris Watkins, the 11th, 13th, Jordan Polly 14th, Andrew Dixon 15th, then Paul Fugate, Barry Hines, Scott Howell, the rest of the cars on the lead lap, 18 of them in the end. Tommy Ryan 19th, and Austin Jones rounding out the top 20. 21st going to Scott Martin, then Zach Knowles, Austin Coop, Cam Brown, Tanner Cook, Jeff Hoggard 26th, Thomas Axum, Mason White, Marvin Turnmeyer Jr., William Payne 30th, Zach Rablowski, Nicholas Lemberger, Donnie Moore, Corey Wyatt, Cameron Hobbs 35th, Austin Yarborough after such a strong run early, relegated to 36th, Shannon Jones, Daniel Williamson, Adam Poff, David Richer, the 40 cars taking the green flag tonight for 200 laps at the Martinsville Speedway. And as we draw the Rocket Tire Services 300 to a close, want to give a shout out to Kyle Barnes and the entire crew at the American Sim Racing Association and Brett Wheeler. It's been fun up here in the broadcast booth. We didn't know exactly what was going to happen. We knew it was going to be interesting. Boy, was it ever.
Yeah, it was very interesting. We had quite a few cautions in there, which I'll let you announce. I think we did break a record of some sort for caution, but congratulations to the top three. Very deserving winner of the one. The 92 Speedway was very, very unlucky not to win that one, but it is racing. As he said, he's not happy that he didn't win it. He'll come back next time. He's got a score to settle. Congratulations to the top three and the rest of the drivers.
Yeah, we broke the real-life record for this race. 22 cautions. That last one put us over the top. So at the American time on the web,